Here we go. Last review. It's in the video. All right. Sorry, wake up. So this says quiz, notice, but it's just a review that's like your quiz. So this is not a live quiz. So in triangle trigonometry, you can either do SOHCAHTOA, law of sines, which is A over sine A equals B over sine B, stuff like that. Or you can use law of cosines. That. Okay, we're going to use any one of these three things today. So the first one, it's a right triangle. So you can use SOHCAHTOA or law of sines, but let's fill in what they give us. So we have angle B is 72. Little c is 5.8. And they want you to find little b. Now remember, we also know that this is 90. So I think that most of you, do you guys like law of sines better or SOHCAHTOA? What do you guys like? I'll do it both ways. Let's do law of sines first. So this is a given ratio. So you could go 5.8 over sine 90, which by the way, sine 90 is really just 1, equals, and then we'll do the, which one are we solving for, B? Because my other three classes I did it on the top, so you can do it either way. We'll put the sides on the top. And then B over sine 72. So basically all it is multiplying these two things because sine 90 is really 1. So we're going to go 5.8 on your calculator. If I can get this cleared. Okay, so we have 5.8 times, this isn't very dark, I got to darken this. Okay, there we go. 5.8 times sine 72 is 5.516. And we are going to divide this by sine 90, but it's not really going to, we don't really have to do this step because sine 90 is 1. This should still be the same answer. 5.5. And that is side B. B is 5.5. Now, had we done it with SOHCAHTOA off of the information that was given, and we were solving for B, according to 72, B is the opposite side, and 5.8 was the hypotenuse, so we would have chose sine of 72 equals opposite, which is B, over the hypotenuse, which is 5.8, and you would have just cross-multiplied these. And that is basically the same thing that we just got done doing over here. So you could have done opposite over hypotenuse as well. Okay, so the next triangle is also a right triangle because the directions right here say right triangles. So they didn't draw a triangle. I didn't draw a triangle. I should say they. It was me. So I will draw one. Since it is a right triangle, angle C is 90. God, you guys can't see this. Sorry. Okay, angle C is 90, so you can put a square or you can put 90. It doesn't say that, but it says it's a right triangle. So we're just going to assume that that one's the 90. And little c is 30. This is little c. And little a, which is, here's big A. So little a is across from big A. And they want us to find angle B. So what do we know? We know two sides. I don't know enough angles. Okay, I don't know enough angles to do law of sines. So what we're going to do, we are going to do SOHCAHTOA on this one. So we're doing angle B. What sides do we know? According to angle B, this is the adjacent side. And this is the hypotenuse. So of your SOHCAHTOA, which ones deal with adjacent and hypotenuse? Should be cosine. So we're going to go cosine B equals adjacent 24 over hypotenuse 30. Now, when you punch this in your calculator, you're going to get a decimal. Notice this does not say B equals this. It says cosine B equals this. So to get your final answer, we're going to take the inverse cosine, which is also called arc cosine, of each side to get our angle. That cancels the word cosine. You get B. And so on your calculator, I want you to press second cosine of 24 over 30. So let's punch that in right now. So in order to get the angle, you always press second cosine. So press second cosine of 24 divided by 30, and this will give you your angle. 36.86. Now this 6, we'll round the 8 to a 9. So this is going to be 36.9 degrees. So angle B is 36.9 degrees. Does everyone in this class understand that? We could have done law of sines. We could have found angle A using law of sines and then did 180 minus these two. Does anyone want me to do that in here? To show you that you can do that?
Sure.
Okay. So if we would have done law of sines, I would have had to find angle A first. Even though I'm trying to find angle B, I could have found angle A and then just taken 180 minus these two. So in order to do law of sines, we would have done 30 over sine 90, because that's a given ratio. And then I know side A, so I would have to do the A ratio, which is 24 over sine A. And you would cross multiply these two. You'd go 24 times sine 90, which should be 24 because sine 90 is 1. And then you divide it by the 1 across from sine A. So you're going to go 24 sine 90 divided by 30, all equals sine A. So you would have divided this by 30. And then you would have pressed second sine, second, highlight that. Oh, my thing doesn't highlight. Oh, yeah, it does. And you would have got 53.1. That's angle A. And then you would have taken 180 minus that, minus the given 90, right triangle, to get 36.9. I know I just did that really fast, but you could have done it another way. All right. Did you get it? Did I do that too fast?
No.
So which way did you like it? I did that one fast. You guys like SOHCAHTOA? Or like the law of sines better? Okay. The next one, again, is a right triangle. Is there any questions on 1 or 2 yet? Because if you guys ask a question, my other classes can hear it, and they might have the same question. Maddie, did you have a question?
No.
Anyone have a question? All right, number 3, a 757 passenger jet begins its descent to Ronald Reagan International Airport. So here's your airplane. It's starting its descent. It is 3,900 feet from the ground. That's why the 3,900 is the vertical right here. And the angle of descent is 6 degrees. Now the angle 6% is outside the triangle. Outside the triangle. So if this is 6% using alternate interior angles that you learned in geometry, if 6% is here, 6% is also inside the triangle at the bottom. So fill in as 6% at the bottom of the triangle. Because that 6% is on the outside. Alternate interior angles, this is a transversal, means that that's 6 and so is this. Angle of depression is the same thing as the angle of elevation. So they always go right there across from the 90. So you can do 180 minus 90 minus 6 to get the third angle if you want. Let's try that. Let's go 180 minus the given 90 minus that 6 degrees. So our other angle, if we need it, is 84. We might as well put it in there in case we need it. 84. So then it says, A, what is the plane's ground distance to the airport? So we're solving for this one right here. I think we should do law of sines. So one of the ones we know is this one. This is the ratio that we know. I'm going to circle this. The angle 6 is across from the side 3,900. So you can use that as the given ratio for law of sines. So you would go 3,900 over sine 6. Side opposite angle. Right there. We're solving for x. What angle is across from x? Do you guys see that 84 that we just figured out? See how x is across from 84? That's your other ratio. So the side is x, that goes on top. Angle is 84, that goes on the bottom. And you just cross multiply. So you're going to multiply these two right here, 3,900 times sine of 84, divided by the number across from x, which is sine 6. Now this all equals x, so you don't have to do anything fancy at the end. Whatever you get is your answer. So it's 3,900 times sine of 84 equals divided by sine 6. Woo, that's a big number. 37,106, and it looks like the decimal is just going, that 2 is not going to round to 0. So this first 5 numbers is your answer, 37,106. And that looks like it is in feet, according to the problem. We're in feet. Because miles would be pretty far. Any questions on that one? Would anyone like me to do SOHCAHTOA for that one? Is that a yes? Okay, so in this problem, we were solving for x. So from 6 degrees right here, Mimi, according to 6 degrees, what is x? The adjacent, opposite, or hypotenuse? It's the adjacent. What is the 3,900 according to 6? Opposite. So which trig function deals with opposite and adjacent? TOA, yes. So you could have done tangent of 6 degrees is opposite 3,900 over adjacent x. You see that? Do you see that, Mimi? And now, whenever the x is in the bottom in these SOHCAHTOA problems, do you remember what to do if the x is in the bottom? You have to switch places and then divide. So you would switch x and tan 6. So whenever x is in the bottom, you switch it with the tan 6, just switch places, and then you divide 3,900 divided by tan 6. Like that, and it's the same answer. Magic. Okay, I confused you on tangent. Tangent, it's right here. So it's from 6 degrees. The opposite is 3,900 over the adjacent x. So I did 3,900 over x. Whenever the x is in the bottom, you switch places with these two. Remember that rule from when we did that? If the x is in the top, you just cross multiply. But when the x is in the bottom, you switch places, and then you end up dividing. Which is why some people don't like SOHCAHTOA, because of that little thing right there. That's why law of science is easier for most people, because it's just cross multiplying.
I got a question.
Yes.
Instead of 10, I was going to use sine instead.
You can't use sine because we did not know the hypotenuse.
Oh.
You don't know the hypotenuse, and they're not asking for the hypotenuse. All right. Now, in question B, it says, how far must the plane fly to reach the runway? Now, you could use sine, because now they are asking for that hypotenuse. I'm going to redraw this because there's just too much going on up there. I'm going to redraw this. What we know is 6 degrees, 84 degrees, and 90 degrees. We now know, okay, we know that this is 3,900, and we just solved for this bottom part, so we actually know that as well. So there are lots of ways that you could find this hypotenuse. You could do Pythagorean theorem, because we know 2 sides of a right triangle. You could do law of sines, or you could do SOHCAHTOA. Anyone have a preference? Let's try, since we haven't done it yet, let's try the Pythagorean theorem. Anytime you know 2 sides of a right triangle, only on a right triangle, you can do Pythagorean theorem. So it doesn't matter which one is A and B, but it does matter which one is C. The C is the hypotenuse, and that is what you're trying to find right now. So I'll call it C, because that is the hypotenuse. So over here, we do not know what C is, so that's still C squared. The other two, it doesn't matter which one you write first. And I like to get things calculator ready. Do you see how this says it's equal to C squared? If we square root both sides, now this is calculator ready. Take the square root, do second square root of 3,900. Here's the review for today. We're doing a live video. Squared, don't forget that's 3,900 squared plus 37,106 squared. And just press equals, and that's going to be your answer. So your answer is 37,310.4. And that is in feet. And that's your answer. Would anyone like me to show you law of sines for that one? Are you guys okay with Pythagorean theorem? Okay, so now we're on 4. Let's draw a picture. So you have an 8-meter ladder that leans against the building. So this ladder should be diagonal. So let's draw a diagonal. This ladder is 8 meters long. It's leaning against the building. This is my building. I'll even draw a building. I'll put some windows in here. A couple doors. We'll call it PHSN. Ladder on the outside. If the ladder makes an angle of 60 degrees with the ground, if the ladder makes 60 degrees with the ground, the 60 goes there. And usually a building is perpendicular to the ground, so that should be 90. Unless it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But north is not leaning. Did I say it wrong? Isn't it Pisa? Oh. The Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's the leaning. It's one of the most famous landmarks in our world. Let's go ahead and do 180. Not that I need to do this on the calculator. Minus 90 minus the given 60 degrees. That should definitely be 30. And we'll fill in our 30 up here. So this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. There's actually another way you can do this one. If you know your 30, 60, 90 rules. Anyone remember this? If the hypotenuse is 8, what the small leg is? It's half of it. Anyone know that? Like this should be 4, and then this should be 4 radical 3 if you know your 30, 60, 90 rules. And I wouldn't even have to do any work. If you know your 30, 60, 90 rules, if you know the hypotenuse is 8, the small leg, which is opposite the 30, is half of it, which is 4. And this is 4 radical 3. If you know that, you don't do any work for this problem. I don't even care what I'm asking for. I know all the sides. But what are they asking for? Question A, how far up the wall does the ladder reach? That's the first thing we're finding is X. How far up the wall does the ladder reach? I already know it's 4 radical 3 based off 30, 60, 90 rules, but maybe you don't know what 4 radical 3 is as a decimal. Yeah, you can just say 4 radical 3 right now. But I'm going to do it with, I'm going to go with law of sines. Okay, so law of sines, I'm doing this as my given ratio. That might freak some of you out because you don't see a number there, but what does the square equal? 90. So if you want, put a little 90 in there. So I'm going to go 8 over sine 90. I know. My other classes made me do it the other way. You can go sine 90 over 8 if you want. Sine 90 over 8. It's either side over angle or angles over side. The other one I'm using since I'm solving for x is this one. So put the side on the top, angle on the bottom, unless you're doing it the other way. That's your law of sines proportion. So cross multiply these two. 8 sine 60 divided by sine 90 equals x.
Students and staff, we are on a medical lockdown. A medical lockdown around the common and the field house.
Sorry if I just cussed.
Lockdown around the common and the field house. Teachers, please restrain kids from coming down there. Thank you.
Drawing you straight?
I'm straight. I'm sorry, guys. I'm straight. My heart just went up. Started beating a little faster. Look at my calculator. It's all over the place now. Thought I was getting ready to do a lockdown, people. 8 sine 60 divided by sine 90. We could have been documenting this thing. This is 6.9 answer. Now,
Can you run that to second?
well, let me see what it says. It says, how far up the wall does the ladder reach? It is 6.9 meters. That's important. Because 6.9 feet is not very far. That's just a little taller than me. That'd be a small ladder. So the meters is kind of important. I think we should keep it at 6.9, not 7, because I want everything to be rounded to the nearest tenth.
She said it really scary too. She's like,
I know, I did. My heart just started like. Yolbert did?
Yeah, and Miss Collins.
Oh, well, maybe it's bad then, medical. A teacher passed out?
Which teacher?
comments.
Hopefully it's like.
You guys will know more before me with your social media. All right, listen, we're not done with this problem. We could have been done with this problem if that was a real lockdown, but we're not done. So we just found out that this was 6.9. I'm redrawing what we know. This is our building. It's the ladder is 6.9 feet. We know that this is 60. We know that this is 30. We know that this is 90. And that's all we know, right? Oh, no, we know that this is 8. So the next question has to be the bottom here. How far from the wall is the base of the ladder? Last thing is right here. You have so many choices. SOHCAHTOA, Pythagorean theorem, law of sines. You can do law of cosines. You can do anything you've ever learned about trigonometry right now. Which one do you want to do, Chase? Pythagorean theorem?
Yeah.
Say that again.
Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean theorem. Yeah, I can't even say it now. Oh, Pythagoras. Don't forget to name your daughter that. Pythagoras. Call her Pythag. Or just Pi. Okay, so we're doing Pythagorean theorem. So we have 6.9 squared plus y squared equals 8 squared. I'm doing a live video. Everyone with me on the Pythagorean theorem there? That the hypotenuse was 8? Yep. Subtract 6.9 squared from the other side. So that is going to be y squared equals, let's do that on the calculator. We have 8 squared minus 6.9 squared is 16.39, and that is equal to y squared. So square root that. 4 point, it looks like just 4. Y is 4 meters. I did 8 squared minus 6.9 squared. So which one did you want me to do on that one? Law of sines? All right, if I would have done law of sines to find y, I would have been using y over 30. And I would have done the 90 and the 8. I would have done 8 over sine 90.
Are you recording this?
It's live video. Did you have this already? We're just about done with the first page, so you can start with this on the second page. So 8 times sine 30 divided by sine 90. 8 sine 30 divided by sine 90. Punch that in the calculator and see if you get 4. Remember from the beginning I said it was 4? Because it was half of 8? Like we could, if you guys know your 30, 60, 90 rules, you wouldn't have to do any work on that problem. So 8 sine 30 is equal to that divided by sine 90, which sine 90 is 1, so should not change the answer. 4. But again, if you know your 30, 60, 90 rules, if the hypotenuse is 8, half of it is 4. I could have known that right from the beginning. And this is 4 radical 3. Did anyone try 4 radical 3 and punch it in the calculator to see if it's this decimal? 4 radical 3 should be 6.9. Is it? 4 radical 3? 6.9? So you guys could have done that problem without work. Who's going to remember that on the test that you don't have to do any work for that problem? If I give you the hypotenuse, half of it is the short leg. All right, next page, page 2. If you're just joining us, we are on page 2. I do. I stole some yesterday. I did steal tissues, but did someone steal them back? Oh. I was walking by someone's room and I saw them.
Staff and team, we have released our medical emergency. We will continue on our normal bell schedule at 9:14. Thank you.
All right, let's draw a triangle. This one, guys, notice it does not say right triangle. Do you guys see that? It just, whenever it just says triangle, it's not a right triangle. So that means just draw a regular looking triangle like this. Do not draw a right triangle. Do you need Catherine? You can borrow Corey's. All right, let's label it ABC. Label it ABC. And let's fill in. B is 49. C is 32. And little a is 10. If you know two angles, how many do you really know? 3. So let's find it. 180 minus 49 minus 32. For a whopping 99. So my pictures might not be proportionate, but that's okay. So do you guys, in order to do law of sines at this point, in order to use law of sines, do you know a given ratio, side and angle, side and opposite angle? Anytime you know that, you can use law of sines. That's how you know if you can use law of sines. So you see this right here? We know a complete ratio, a side and an angle. So you should go 10. We're using law of sines.
Can you do one of them the way you tell us? That's fine.
Yeah. Like sine 99 over 10?
Yeah.
All right. I'll do that over here. So you can go sine 99 over 10. Or you can go 10 over sine 99. This is first period's way. This is the rest of the day. Either way, it's the same thing. Okay? Now, what are we solving for? That's important to know. We're solving for little b. So that's the other ratio that you're using. That's the other ratio you're using. So we're going to go sine 49 over b if you're doing in first period. If you're in the other classes, you're going b over sine 49. So first period, start by cross multiplying these two. 10 sine 49, and then you're going to divide by sine 99. If you're in the other classes, it's this, 10 sine 49 divided by sine 99. Isn't that the exact same thing? See how this is the exact same thing? So it doesn't matter how you set it up. But right now we're doing 10 sine 49. Close your parentheses. Equals. Divided by sine 99. You get 7.6. So B is 7.6. Next year, guys, with my pink passes, I'm going to fill up the board. I might have to use the big wall though. Instead of painting my room pink, I'm just going to use your passes. But if you don't want names, I can just do the back.
You can put my name up there. I'll be like half a whole.
Proud. Then I can say, how many did you have?
The wall of fame.
Yeah.
The wall of fame.
The wall. The unexcused wall of fame. I might make my own then for the people who just don't come to my class to go to second period. Make those yellow. I'll make my own special yellow ones. All right, new triangle. Are you guys okay with that one? Who likes law of sines the best? Okay, triangle. Next problem, number 6. Label it ABC. They gave us angle B. They gave us side A. And they gave us side C. Can you find an A or C right now doing that 180 minus? No, because we only know one angle. So do you know a complete ratio, side and opposite angle? Since you said no, that means you can't use all signs. So what's your other law? Law of cosines. This is SAS. Anytime you know two sides, it's law of cosines. So we can look at our formula sheet that's on the back for law of cosines, but we are solving for little b. If you look on your formula sheet, right here, do you guys see this? This is law of cosines, but as you know, I don't do the square part. I do the square root. So this is the one that you want right now. You want this one right here. Look on the back. It says b squared, but I get it calculator ready, so I just square root both sides. So you want to do square root of A squared plus C squared minus 2AC times cosine of B. I'm writing it right from your paper, this right here. Just copy it down. It's on the back of your review. Now we're going to punch in numbers. Now for the substitution. You can only plug in the numbers that are given, so that's kind of easy. A is 14. C is 18. Minus 2 times 14 times 18 times cosine of 48. If you're sitting there right now and you have not got any of the answers that I've got on the calculator, you may be in radians. Make sure your calculator is always in degrees if you're getting weird answers. Imaginaries, you might be in radians too. So we're just going to punch this in. Square root, second x squared, 14 squared, plus 18 squared. If you have an old calculator, you need to put a parenthesis at the beginning because the radical doesn't continue. Do you guys see how my radical is continuing? That's what you want it to do. If you notice that your radical is not continuing, you need a parenthesis at the beginning here. We want everything under the radical. That's exactly how you should punch it in. No chunking. Punch the whole thing in and press enter. 13.5. Side B. Notice that's all they asked for. They just said find side B. They didn't say solve for the whole triangle. I'm going to continue this. It'll be on there. The test is Tuesday on this. So an Earth orbiting satellite, yep, they have a triangle here. It's kind of dark, so let's just redraw this. A. They have the B over here and the C. It's saying in the picture that they're saying this is 58 and 72, and they're saying this is 446. This is Oak Ridge and Langley. And this is just in case you can't read the picture that they gave you. So Earth orbiting satellite is passing between Oak Ridge Laboratory, which is right here, oops, right here, in Tennessee, and the Langley Research Center in Virginia. They are 446 miles apart. That was already in the picture.
I just have a question about that question too. I was working on the first one. What are we supposed to do? We only have two sides.
It says right here it's a right triangle, so you know that.
Oh.
So you know that
Okay.
C
All
is
right,
a
so I
9.
wanted- okay, thank you.
So just type all this.
Yep. So let's see here. If the angles of elevation to the satellite from Oak Ridge are 58 and 72 respectively, that means this one's first, this one's second. How far is the satellite from each station? So this is the satellite up here. This is the satellite. How far is it from Oak Ridge? So that would be side B. And how far is it from Langley, which is side A? That's what you're trying to find. So you have to do both of them. Let's see. If you know two angles, you know the third. So let's figure out the third angle. We have 180 minus 58 minus 72, which is 50. So thank you. So we definitely can use law of sines here. Okay, see that? That's a given ratio. So let's go 446 over sine 50. Let's go with A first. A is the distance from Langley to the satellite. So A over sine 58. Here's your review. Come up and get one. I'm doing a live video, so you guys can pick up with me here in the next problem. So it's 446 times sine 58 divided by sine 50. Because 50 is across from the A. So it's 446 times sine 58 equals, divided by, yeah, sine 50. Just don't, make sure you go to the bathroom. 493.7. And that is A. So A is 493.7 miles. And then now we're going to find B. We're going to do law of sine again. So we're still going to use this same ratio right here. 446 over sine 50. But this time, we're using this ratio. The B ratio. So that's equal to B over sine 72. So it's 446 times sine 72 over sine 50. Punch that in the calculator. Divided by sine 50. It's 612.2. That's 7 rounds the 1. The 7 rounds the 1 to a 2. So it's 612.2. Put that up here. Okay, if you just came in, I have a review for you. This review actually says quiz on it because this is what your quiz looks like on Tuesday. Except your quiz will be either form B, C, or D. Okay, so it looks exactly like it, question for question. Right now, if you guys want to pick up, I'm doing a live video. So, because the first period didn't want to wait. So we right now are on number 8. So if I was you, I would just start on number 8. And then you can go back and watch the video for the rest of it later. Do you have this? Is that it? It's right here.
What's this?
I don't know. From yesterday. Tyreek and Corey. Tyreek and Corey.
It's quiz 3. Quiz?
It says quiz. It's going to be just like your quiz on Tuesday. This is actually a review, but it looks exactly. Instead of giving a retake, this is your first go at it, but it's practice. Hey, get in here. God bless America. Get in here.
I want to be back. I kept telling my guy, get to this road.
I just want you out of the hallway. People have AP tests they're studying for. Just get in here.
I don't have my phone though.
I need your bag then.
My bag. Oh, yeah, my calculator. Or is it? Oh, I need my bag. Tell you if it's.
I have your calculator for you. All right, we are number 8. We're number 8. I'm doing a live video on the review. You can pick up with number 8 with us, or you can do it on your own. The whole video will be on there.
I'm with you. I'm just gonna start.
I already did with first period. I did 1 through 7, but you can go back and watch it later.
I think I'm about to do that.
Okay, I'm doing number 8.
That's what I'm doing.
That's what I'm about to do.
All right, I'm on 8. When a hockey player attempts a shot, he is 20 feet from the left post. So if you look at the picture, all this is filled in over here. 20 feet, hockey player. And 24 feet from the right post. So that's 24 here. What? If the regulation hockey goal is 6 feet wide, that's this. What is the player's shot angle? That means this. We're finding an angle. Right here. We're finding an angle. What is the player's shot angle to the nearest degree? Notice it says to the nearest degree. You know what that means? No rounding. Nearest degree. You round up to the nearest whole number. Whenever you find an angle, you can use, anyone know what we use if we had 3 sides? If you guys look on the back of your sheet, look on the back of your sheet, it's all the formulas. When you know all 3 sides, I'm going to have you guys add some formulas. There's 3 formulas that I said are never in a book. For example, next to law of cosines. If you're trying to find an angle A, you subtract little a, b squared plus c squared. I gave these in your notes, 2bc. If you're finding angle B, you subtract little b, a squared, c squared, 2ac. And if you're finding cosine C, you subtract little c. All the stuff's in your notes. I don't get too called up on A, B's, and C's. I just remember that whatever angle I'm solving for, I subtract the little one over here. The one across from it. And then you use your other sides twice. So if you're looking at your notes or quickly write these down, we're going to use this right now, this knowledge. So if you know 3 sides, you're going to say cosine of x equals, and then there's going to be a fraction here. Which one do I subtract? What is across from x? 6. So we're going to subtract 6 squared. So you're solving for this angle. The side that is across from it is the one that you subtract. And then it's 20 squared plus 24 squared. over 2 times 20 times 24. That is this formula right here. That is the formula that I gave you in your notes the other day about how to find an angle given 3 sides. This is what you use when you know 3 sides.
Where that came from, Miss Owen?
What paper?
That,
The notes I gave you yesterday?
oh,
Law of cosines. So now, this is the hard part, is the calculator part. This is probably the hardest part on the calculator. When you have a fraction, you have to put parentheses around the top, here and here, and around the bottom, here and here. You also have to press arc cosine at the end. It's arc cosine of all of this. It's the arc cosine of all this. So we're going to press parenthesis. Start by typing in a parenthesis, and then you're going to go 20 squared plus 24 squared minus 6 squared. Parenthesis divided by parenthesis 2 times 20 times 24. Now, notice you're getting the decimal. That is not your angle. That is what cosine x equals. So you're going to take arc cosine of this, second cosine, highlight it, press enter, bring that decimal down. Your angle is 11.7 degrees. That is your shot. Your angle at goal is 11.7. So if you know anything about hockey or lacrosse or field hockey or soccer, the angle that you shoot at the goal is going to make your shot a little bit easier to make. So I think 11.7 isn't too bad. Angle X is 11.7. Oh, you remember how I said to the nearest degree? Would that be 11 or 12 degrees? Nearest whole degree. So you would say it's about a 12-degree shot. So if you ever listen to announcers, they're going to say what angle degree that they're shooting from. And that was number 8. So for all those that are just joining us, 1 through 7 will be live on video on your own after we're done with this one. Okay, row 9. Okay, so this whole section is about triangles, but this is a quadrilateral. A quadrilateral is 4 sides, but any 4-sided figure can be made into 2 triangles, just like a pentagon can be made into 3 triangles. So quadrilateral, we have 2 triangles here. They've already got some things filled in. Here's one thing you should know from geometry. If this is 60, what is this one? 60. Alternate interior angles. This dashed line serves as a transversal. So we know that's 60. So we should be able to figure out these other 2 angles by doing 180 minus. So in the first triangle right here, what's 180 minus 70 minus 60? 50. So this one's 50. And then we should be able to find this angle down here by taking 180 minus 60 minus 58. Do you guys see that? So 180 minus 60 minus 58 is 62. So we've got all 3 of these filled out. It says find the area of the quadrilateral. It says, hint, combine the area of the 2 triangles. So you're going to find area. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to call this triangle 1. And I'm going to call this triangle 2. So over here, triangle 1. What is the area of triangle 1? So what information do you know in this triangle 1? We know what? Because you were late. You have 3 angles and 2 sides. So you have choices. Look at the back. Remember all the area formulas we worked on yesterday? If you know 3 angles, I would use this one personally. You guys see this one? If you know 3 angles, this one would probably be the one you want to use. But we also know 2 sides. Okay, so if you know 2 sides, you can also use this one. It just depends on which one you guys like. Which one do you guys like? Guys, which one do you want me to use? I'm going to use the angle one. I'm using the angle one. Okay, so triangle one's area is 1/2 pick a side, 9 or 11. I'll pick 9. I'm using the area formula from our notes. Now the area formula says whatever side you pick, that's the angle that you divide by. So if I pick side A, I would divide by sine A. And then the other angles are on the top. So which side did we pick? We picked 9. So what angle is across from 9? The 50th, so that's the one I divide by. Sine 50. The other two angles, 70 and 60, are on the top. When you're punching this into the calculator, you're punching in this part right here and then divided by sine 50. So it's 0.5 times 81 times sine 70. Now this is what most people make a mistake on the calculator. They don't close this parenthesis right here. You have to close the 70 before you press sine again. And the other sign is 60. You should close that parenthesis. Press equals and then divided by sine 50. This is an area of 43 units squared. So triangle 1 has an area of 43 units squared. That is not your final answer. That's just the area of triangle 1. Now we define the area of triangle 2. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the last one. This one is also, I'm still going to use the 3-angle formula. So the only side I know in triangle 2 is 13. So I have to use 13. The formula says take your side and square it. Again, I'm using these formulas right here. Area, this one right here, one of these. Again, I don't get caught up on A's, B's, and C's. I just know that whatever side I pick, I'm dividing by the opposite angle of that. Sine of the opposite angle of that. So since I chose 13, I need to divide by the angle across from 13, which is 62. So I would divide by 62. The top has the other two angles. So this is your formula. This is what you're going to punch in your calculator. And then divide by sine 62. 0.5 times 13 squared times sine of 60. Close your parenthesis. Times sine of 58. Close that parenthesis. Press equals. Divide by sine 62. For an answer of 70.3. So this one's 70.3 units squared. So your answer is whatever 43 plus 70.3 is. That's 113.3. That is your area. So you add the two areas up. All right, number 10 is another area problem. Farmer Fred needs to form a pen for his new piglets. He has 3 sections of fence he plans to use to form a triangle. If the lengths of the sections are 20, 16, and 8, well, maybe I should have drawn that differently. 20 is a little longer than 8. You know what? That's bothering me. I'm making this the 20. I'm making this the 8. Find the area of the enclosed plant. Sketch a picture. I wouldn't say it's the greatest picture, but it's a triangle with 3 sides. So how do you find the area of this triangle? There's only one area formula I gave you that involved 3 sides. It's right here, if you look from yesterday. In order to use this formula, you have to first find the semi-perimeter. Semi-perimeter is half the perimeter. So we're going to add all 3 sides and take half of it. So we're going to find S, which is 1/2, 8, 16, and 20. 8 plus 16 is 24. 24 plus 20 is 44. And half of that is 22. That's not your answer. That's the S. The formula is right here. It has 4 S's in it. S minus A, S minus B, S minus C. That's the area formula. So it's K equals a big square root, and 22 is in there 4 times. Then you just fill the sides in. I don't care how you fill the sides in. Just put them smallest, largest, largest, smallest, whatever you like. Before I punch in the calculator, I do a little work first. Like 22 minus 18 is what? 14. 22 minus 16 is 6. 22 minus 20 is 2. And that's what I punch in the calculator. Square root of 22 times 14 times 6 times 2. 60.8. And that's units. No, actually, it's not units. This is actually, they gave us feet, so it's feet squared. 60.8 feet squared. So if you wanted to go buy grass seed for your little piglet pen, or maybe you wanted to buy some special stuff to put in, I don't know what pigs need other than mud, so I'm not sure what you would buy. You probably wouldn't buy anything. Just need a hose to make some mud. They don't need a whole lot. So you wouldn't have to buy anything. Just need to enclose that much area for them. All right, this next problem is looking a little confusing. You have a lighthouse right here. This is your lighthouse. Lighthouse. Have you guys ever seen a lighthouse in person? They're pretty sweet inside. It stands on a hill. This is your hill. 200 feet above sea level. It stands on a hill 200 feet above sea level. So is the hill 200 feet? It's saying this is 100. Let me look at this. If ACD is 60, where's D at? D's in the middle of this triangle. So this is angle D. I'm not sure where D is. Can you guys, this problem is, this picture is terrible. BCD, I don't know where the D is. The D is just like in the middle of a triangle. Like, where is it? Find the height of the lighthouse. Well, no, we're finding this. B, C, D. I'm thinking that D is like an angle right here, you think? Like this? You guys think? Does that sound good to you guys? I don't know. The D's kind of just floating in the middle of a triangle. I don't know where it's supposed to go. Let's see if that makes sense. ACD. A, the whole angle here, is 60, and then BCD is 30. So if this is 30, and it says ACD is 60, what is this? Think about that. If ACD is 60, this whole thing is 60, and BCD is 30, how much is this? Anyone know? It should be 30 because it says ACD is 60. So totally it's 60. But it says BCD is 30. So these are both 30. The whole thing's 60. Find the height of the lighthouse. So to find the height of the lighthouse, we need to know this. I know 30. I need some more information though. What else do I know? They're saying 100 here, but then it's saying 200 in the problem. A lighthouse stands on a hill 200 feet above sea level. I'm assuming this is the sea. Above sea level, they're saying 200, but they have 100 in the problem. So should I change that to 200? I just don't know why they have 100. All right, we're changing the 100, guys. Cross out the 100. The hill is 200 feet above sea level. I don't think I can do this problem. I think it's just so bad. Picture. Let me see. Find the height of the lighthouse. You know that this is 200. This is 200. And this is 90. I can figure out this. I can figure out this, and I can figure out this. All right, this problem's that's a bonus. Should we continue this?
No.
Let's go to some easier stuff. Are you ready? Solve each of the following for 0 to 60 degrees. Sine theta equals radical 3 over 2. Where is sine positive radical 3 over 2? These are going to be easy because the chart is right here above it. Do you guys see this? Find out where sine is positive radical 3 over 2. First of all, where is sine positive, guys? All scholars take calculus. It's positive 2 places. Where's sine positive? Quadrants 1 and 2. So that's where you should be looking, in those 2 quadrants. Where is sine radical 3 over 2? Sine, by the way, it goes cosine sine like this. Cosine's the y-coordinate. So where is the y-coordinate? Right here. Do you guys see it? So there, and keep going. And here. It's actually 2 places. So what's your answer? It says it has to be in degrees. 0 to 360 degrees. I don't want the radians. I want the degrees. So one of your answers is 60, or the other answer is 120. It's a matter of finding it in the unicircle and writing it. So if you didn't get that, maybe you'll get the next one. Notice in this circle, there's no tangents. Remember how I said in the internet, there's no circles anywhere that have tangents, but I gave you the tangents. So like I'm going to fill these tangents in real quick, at least on this side. Now I'll fill them on all of it. 1 divided by 0 is undefined. This one's negative radical 3, negative 1, negative radical 3 over 3. This one's 0. This one's 0. This one's undefined. This is negative 1. This is positive 1. And then this one's positive radical 3 over 3 and radical 3. This one is negative radical 3 and negative radical 3 over 3. Okay, tangents are in. You can use, this one's on your test, but you can use your notes. So bring the one from your notes. So where is tangent negative 1? Look at your little, all scholars take calculus. Where is tangent negative? Tangent's positive here and here. So tangent's negative in the second and fourth. Tangent's negative in the second and fourth. So where is tangent negative 1? What's one of your answers? 135 right here. Look, 135. Tangent's negative 1. The other one should be straight across from that. Straight across right here. Negative 1. That is 315. You don't want to blow these problems. These are the easy ones. These are 4 points apiece. So where is cosine 0? Where is cosine 0? Up here. Cosine is the x coordinate. There should be 2 answers for this. Where is cosine 0? Where is the x coordinate 0? What's one of them? Look at 90. It's right there. And 270 right there. So it's 90 or 270. Now, I can show you how to get one of them on your calculator. Do you guys want me to show you how to get one of them on your calculator? Do you see where it says cosine theta equals 0? If you took the arc cosine of each side and punched that in your calculator, you press second cosine 0. 90 is one of them right there. That's one of them. And then you have to figure out the other one. If I wanted to go up here to where it says tangent's negative 1, I could have pressed second tangent negative 1. It would have given me, oh, it says negative 45. But you can't give me that because it says the answer has to be positive. So maybe it's not going to help you. It does say negative 45, which is the same thing as 315. But you can't tell me negative 40 because you can't tell me negative. All right. When is sine negative 1? I'm going to try that on the calculator. When is sine negative 1? Second sine negative 1. It says negative 90, but you can't say negative 90. So what's the other one for negative 90? 270. Now, is it any other time? Here's sine. Is it ever going to be negative 1 any other time around the circle? This is one of the only ones that only has one answer. There's only 2 of the whole angles in the whole thing that only has one answer. It's the 270 and the 180 at times. All right, when is cosine negative radical 3 over 2? So first of all, to narrow down your search, cosine is positive here and here. So it's negative here and here. So you should be looking in second and third quadrant. When is cosine, which by the way is the x-coordinate, negative radical 3 over 2? It should be 150 and 210. Both of them. If you only list one, you're missing 2 points on every time you only list one. Now, 12 only had one, so that's 4 points by itself. And when is sine negative radical 2 over 2? So to narrow down your search, sine is positive here and here, but sine is negative here and here. So you should be looking in the bottom 2 quadrants. When is sine negative radical 2 over 2? It'd be there and here, so it'd be 225 and 315.